Hey, Bruce here, the 5-Minute Handyman. Well, I am building a shed out of a kit that we got from Lowe's, and so I wanted to show you some of the hardware and talk about how it gets put together. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel so you can see how I do different home improvement projects and tips and tricks on making your life easier. So let's take a look and see what we got here. Well, what I've done so far is I have laid out each of the pieces of wood so that the likes are together, so it's easy for me to find the different pieces that I need. Those pieces of OSB are for the roof. We've got some wall panels here, side panel, a door. Built this platform, and you can watch the video on how to build a platform on piers, and same methods for doing a deck. So very useful, helpful video. Alright, so I've got the left wall put together, and what they tell you to do is to build each piece, and then they give you dimensions for where to put the different cross members and such. And so I'm just about ready to start on the right wall, and the way the instructions look, very helpful. They show that you want the prime side down. We're going to do flush on these two ends here. The nails are going to go in the middle. It tells you what dimensions it needs to be. Just very good set of instructions. Tells you which parts you need for this particular page for assembly, how many screws you're going to use. Then as you get into some of the other stuff, it tells you what size nails, and very good instructions. So you just need to be very aware of what the if there's any spacers and things, you want to make sure you go over this really well. What I would suggest is, if you have a highlighter, as you do each step, you just highlight that thing so that you don't miss any of the little details. And so it even shows you where on the shed the panel that you're working on is going to go. And so pretty good set of instructions. And so we're just going through and putting the screws and nails in where they need to be, and it's very easy to do. So this first panel took me about 40 minutes or so, and we're just going to keep going with the second panel, and then we'll do the back, and then I'll do all that stuff off camera, and then I'll come back for when we're ready to stand up the walls. I'll show you how we do that and make sure everything is plumb and level and such. So that's where we're at, and we'll be back in just a few. Alright, well, we are ready to build the back wall. So let me show you what we have done so far. We've got the left side wall is built, and as I pointed out on the last segment, there were some spacers that we were told to put in here because there's going to end up being a shelf here and stuff. And so we have both of these sides done, and now we're getting ready to do the back wall here. And so this wall is going to be built more traditionally, where we're going to have a top plate, a bottom plate, and then we'll have the studs that go in between. And so our instructions tell us the dimensions here of how we're going to lay this out, and what to do with the seams in our top and bottom plate. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take and bring this down to the edge, because I want to do, the first thing I want to do is I want to mark it. So I want to get these flush, and let me show you how we're going to go about doing this. So the first dimension here says that I need to be 22.5, and that's to the center of the 2x3 that's going to be in between here. So I measure over 22.5. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark here at 22.5. But now I do know that my studs are going to be 1.5 inches wide, so I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch to the left. So I've got 1, 2, 3/4, and so that's going to be the edge of my stud. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an X here, so I know my stud is going to go at this at this location. Okay, if I don't put the X, and I might mess up and on one end do them different, and then they're all going to be crooked. So I got 21 3/4, and so let me find my square. There it is. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have these two, the bottom and top plate, sitting next to each other. My ends are even, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil, put it on this mark here, and bring the square up to it, and I'm going to draw a line like this, and I'm going to put an X here and an X here. Okay, so now when I separate these, I know that my stud is going to go here and it's going to go on this side here. All right, my next dimension is 46.5. So what we'll do is we're going to just take and run this tape down here. It's a 46.5, and guess what? That comes out right where the seam is, and that's what they're looking for, is they want the seam in the middle of the next stud. So 46.5, and then I'm going to go 3/4 over, and then this is where my X is going to go here, and I'll put this on here. This just makes it easy for me to get it lined up. Okay, so that's my next one. So I'm going to continue down here and get all of the rest of these marked, and then I'll come right back.